Hello, rock and roll. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. Welcome back to Jay's Rock and Roll Stories. I'm your host, Jay. I want to tell you something. I really dig doing this podcast. I really dig doing these episodes. So do me a favor. Whatever app you're using, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, whatever, give me 5 stars. You know, if you like it, give me 5 stars. Leave a comment. Email the show. Tell me who the hell you are. Who are you? All right? Let's get back into it. So this is going to be part 4 of Jim Gordon. This is the end. And oh my God, this book was hard to read. This is a story that you've never heard, and this is insane. And I'm done. I'm so happy to be done reading this book. So, the last thing we mentioned was that, you know, he wanted to see Led Zeppelin. The voices said he can't. Amy, his daughter, broke her leg. So, at the same time, he's supposed to be on the road, or to check in to get on the road. He's going to be drumming with Hall & Oates, 1978. And he calls the manager, Martin, his last name is Martin, who's putting together the tour. And he says to Martin, send me my drums back to LA, please. Martin's like, no, you need to be here in 2 days because we're starting and we need to rehearse. We're going to start in 5 days. And he's like, no, send me my drums to LA, please. Because the voices are telling him no drums. So he gives in and he sends the drums back to Jim. And then Jim calls his office telling his secretary saying, I'm not going on the tour and please tell Martin, do not call me. No, of course Martin calls him. Like, what the hell's going on, Jim? I'm not going on tour with you. So Martin just hangs up. He's got to find a new drummer. The voices are telling Jim, you can't go drum for Hall & Oates because you didn't do a good enough job with the weeds in the backyard. Yeah. Okay. So he doesn't eat. He misses projects because the voices won't let him drum anymore. His mom leaves him a letter, and she's concerned about his behavior. The voices are now telling him that, he did a lousy job on the hill and he's not getting all the weeds done. And now he hears his Aunt Thelma's voice saying, dirty, dirty, dirty. This house is dirty just like you. So now Aunt Thelma's tormenting him. So he phones this guy, Dr. Arbach, who was a psychiatrist who was suggested to Jim. And it's he meets with this doctor, and it's the first time that he really, really lays out all of his entire delusional system. That's what's going on. And the doctor checks him into the Van Nuys Psychiatric Hospital, where they see all the signs of anorexia. They diagnose him with psychotic depression, severe depression, and suicidal ideation. And this was a time when they really didn't. Mental health industry didn't really understand what is now termed as dual diagnosis, which is organic mental illness entwined with substance abuse. This whole time, forever, the mom is just saying, and other people are saying, no, it's he's this way because it's just because of the booze and alcohol. So the book explains that his family were his tormentors, and he could hear their disapproving words towards him through anything, really. It could be communicated through spoken commands that he hears in his head. It could be through nonverbal signs coming from television, from people's motions, just strangers moving around, facial expressions, And the chief tormentor of the voice is the harshly critical one. The dismissive, discouraging is Osa, the mom, his mother, and but she is his only friend. And Osa comes to visit him in the hospital, and they allow Jim. This is amazing. I don't see why they should permit this. They allow him to leave to go spend some time with his mother on the weekend. I don't know. I would figure you'd just have a little break from that. But so nothing helps Jim. Nothing is working, and he checks himself out of the hospital. And he does continue seeing Dr. Auerbach. One time he misses an appointment with Auerbach, so the Dr. Auerbach calls his mom, and she finds him slumped on the floor. He's unconscious from attempting suicide with sleeping pills. Jim is readmitted to the hospital, where he apologizes to Dr. Auerbach, and he explains that the voices don't care whether he lives or dies. After a while, he slowly improves. He goes to a psychiatric meetings at UCLA, and sort of is quote unquote better, but there's still he does little outbursts. He's back in the studio. He's always getting jobs. He's recording with Johnny Rivers, and there's a moment when he yells at the guitar player Dean Parks. They're wrapping up their album. They're on their last song. They're almost done. They're just about to wrap it up. And he yells over to Dean Parks, the guitar player. He says, "Hey, don't do that." And Dean's like, "I'm not doing anything." Jim says, "You're moving my hands. You're messing me up. You're messing with my time. You're making me miss a note in every bar." And everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And because Dean Parks is on the other side of the studio. So Johnny Rivers chimes in. He's like, "Jim, it's not possible because he's way over here. So let's just count it off. 1, 2, 3, 4," and then they wrap up the song. So now it's kind of like now the industry kind of knows. There's like talks behind people's ears, like, "Oh yeah, you hear what happened to Jim?" That kind of thing. It sort of creates like this irresistible fodder for gossip. People are talking. It's just getting weird. There's a time when 1978, Amy gets taken to a concert to see her dad play at the Terrace Theater in Long Beach. But Jim is really big into vodka. He's medicated, but he is working a lot. He does the drums on the Muppet movie, the soundtrack for the Muppet movie. He does an album with Cheryl Cadd. She was from Charlie's Angels. Wrapping up the end of his professional musical career is like a two-parter here. So one is Bob Dylan contacts Jim to help him on his gospel tour, Slow Train Coming. Bob Dylan did a little trifecta. He did 3 religious albums. And Jim is incredibly excited to work with Bob Dylan. It's like a dream. So excited to work with Bob Dylan. He's always wanted to work with Bob Dylan, but the voice is on the phone, telling him on the phone to say no and hang up the phone. Now it's just desperation. You wouldn't let me play with Bob Dylan. I have to find something to let me back into the industry. Like you can't take this away from me. That's where this is going right now with Jim. So he's contacted by Paul Anka, the crooner singer, to do some shows in Vegas. So he does. He's there. He's sitting behind his drums, his drum kit. They're about to practice. He's doing it. Then his mother's voice in his head tells him, "Do not play one more note." And he stops. And he tells the musical director, I'm sorry, I'm having psychological problems. And he leaves. He flies home. He flies back to LA. It's more of the same thing. He plays, then he can't play. This is now cut to like 1980. He meets up with some guys, some buddies, and creates a band called I-5, like the freeway going through California. And at one point, Jim Keltner, his old drummer buddy, wants to help Jim Gordon out, and he contacts the editor of the magazine Modern Drummer to do a feature on Jim Gordon. And at this point in time, it's 1980. Jim is overweight. He's like kind of a bigger guy. He boozes a lot. He doesn't eat. He doesn't bathe. So Scott K. Fish, the editor of Modern Drummer, does an in-depth interview with Jim Gordon, and Jim like really gets into this interview. Like it's really like pulling up the hood of a car and like just explaining the details about it. And Jim Keltner's son Eric is in charge of taking some photographs for the feature. So Jim Gordon and Eric, the son of Jim Keltner, they go to this garage where they have a drum set they're going to have to set up, right? So they pull out, there's like a table where they pull out all the drum sets, the pieces to put together. That's what I meant. To put the pieces together to build the drum kit. And Jim Gordon is like, I don't know how to do this. Like he doesn't. This is foreign all of a sudden. I don't know how to. And Eric's like, what? So Eric set it up. Like, okay. Eric sets up the drums for Jim to sit behind with the sticks and everything. So Jim sits behind with the sticks, and he doesn't even know how to play. And he's like, he's just frozen. And Eric said that it was a weird experience because I figured, my dad's buddy, this amazing drummer, he'd be going crazy on the drums, and he just sits behind the drum kit with the sticks, and all he can say to Eric is, "How's your dad? How's your dad doing?" Like that. Like it's just like this awkward. So this is 1982. And he checks into a hospital again. This is his 14th admission since April of 1979. And he tells the doctors that he's dying of hate and the world is falling apart. So now Jim's theory is his mother who's manipulating his thoughts to get him to go to the hospital because, after all, his mother's a nurse. That's his idea here. And he's out again, and the doctors are warning him that he's doing damage to his liver with all the alcohol, all the prescription medication, all the fast food. He's living alone. He rents a storage space with freeze-dried food, other supplies, and he disconnects his phone. His head is now full of so many voices, and he believes that his mother is just evil, and she had a power to inflict negative feelings toward him from other people, from doctors, from people in stores, from strangers on the street. The mom is getting them to do this to him. He also believes that his mother had a hand in the deaths of Karen Carpenter from the Carpenters and the comedian Paul Lynde. And okay, right now, so the book explains that the new commands are more demanding. The punishments that are dished out are even more torturous. Before it was just the white heat, like head strap. But now the pains are all over his body. Sometimes it knocks him to the ground, causing him to wet his pants. He feels his whole body is on fire. He's still playing drums. And this is bringing us to where we begin when we discussed in the very beginning, when he's in Santa Monica. He's in a band called the Blue Monkeys. They just play for like the locals, the beach bums. They do 3 sets a night, which is incredibly exhausting for the guy. The drums are helping him, but he is completely lost. He really can't tell reality from his paranoia and his pain. The voices are saying, throw away your gold records. All of his achievements in his awards that he won with Derek and the Dominoes, with all the other previous bands, and they are his achievements. He keeps them on the wall in his study. It's like these are his trophies. It's a back and forth thing. So the voices say to take them to the dumpster. So he sets them on the ground by the dumpster. Then he goes back inside and he drinks a fifth of scotch to quiet the voices. And then when the voices are quiet, he goes back out, grabs the gold records, his achievements, and brings them back inside. But when he goes to sleep, he wakes up, and the voices say it again. So now the mom's voice is saying, throw away your drums. So now he's doing the same thing with the drums. He's taking the drums outside with a dumpster, going inside, drinking a fifth of something, vodka, scotch, whatever, numbs the voices, goes back, brings the drums back inside. And this can go up to 10 times a day. Oh my God, my God, what torture here. And it just gets louder and louder. Now the voices, the mom's yelling, throw out those damn drums. That's the order from the mom. Same thing, going back and forth, drink, bring him back in. He goes back to the Blue Monkeys. The voice says, like, he's sitting at the drums, and he's going to play the Blue Monkeys. The voice in his head says, you hit that drum one more time and you die. So this is incredibly exhausting. The hospital didn't work. He checks into the Crossroads Alcoholic Recovery Unit. It's a failure as well. He checks out, of course. His mom moves away to Washington State, and he's kind of excited about that because now he feels like his mom won't be in the same city. His mom sends a letter to Jim, but he never opens it. He never reads the letter, and it's just saying, I'm moving away to Washington. You can take the furniture that I left outside. It's just good luck, see you later. I'm gonna go live in Washington now. And so he doesn't read the letter, but that's what it said. His brother sends him a letter. His brother sends Jim a letter explaining that mom is moving. And he's reading this news from the brother's letter, and he hears his mother's voice in his head saying, "You're gonna have to kill me." The voice in his head is his mom saying, "You're going to have to kill me." Jim doesn't believe this. It continues. It's an endless loop, followed by the white heat pain. He drinks himself to sleep. The morning he wakes up, the voices are returning. Jim Gordon is crawling on the floor crying. "I can't stand it. I've done everything. Leave me alone. I've thrown everything away." Now clearly in his head, he hears his mother, "Why don't you kill me? Why don't you just go ahead and do it?" Now he hears his ex-wife's voice in his head saying, "You're going to have to do it. You have to kill her. Go on and just do it." Osa speaks again, "Kill me, kill me. You're going to have to kill me. You're going to have to do it." So Jim decides he must follow the orders, or else the pain sets in. The pain will set in even worse. He calls his mother Osa on the phone. Osa's freaked out about this, and it's a strange, scary conversation. She writes down the conversation. This is 9:30 p.m. "Hello, is this Osa Gordon?" "Yes, this is Jim Gordon." "Hi, Jim, how are you?" "Not good. If you don't stop bugging me, I'm going to have to kill you." "Is it because I sent you a letter saying I was moving?" I didn't read your letter. You better leave me alone. I sure will, Jim. I will leave you alone. Then he hangs up the phone. Okay, she calls the police and begins to take out a restraining order on the guy. The strange calls continue. The same thing. Stop bugging me, Mom. Stop torturing me, Mom. Like she's like, I don't know what the fuck is this guy's talking about. The book explains that Jim, quote unquote, gives in, and he feels relief. He hears the voices say that, the voices tell him, well, you'll get 22 years in prison, but you'll be okay. He grabs a hammer and he grabs an 8-inch kitchen knife. And he looks up his mom's address in Washington. So he goes there. And she's not there. And he goes to, he just drives and sits and drinks vodka. Then he goes back around 10:50 p.m. He knocks on her door, and then you can hear her say, "Come in." Door's unlocked. He goes in. She's sitting in like a recliner watching TV, and he says that he feels good to see her. He feels relief from the trance for a second. He wanted her to talk to him, but out of all the voices were in control. They all spoke as one through Jim's mouth. "I'm going to kill you." She gets behind her chair to hide from the guy. He strikes her on the head 4 times with the hammer. This is his own mom. She does not lose consciousness, but she falls to the floor. He then grabs the knife and averts his face as he stabs her 3 times with the knife in the heart. Osa dies instantly. Thank God. Poor woman. The knife pierces her aorta, and the 3rd stab was so forceful that the blade of the knife sticks into the floor. This is his own mom here. He leaves the knife protruding from her chest. He walks out of the house to his car. Not run, but he just walks out. A neighbor heard all the screaming and I saw him leaving to his car. So she calls the police and reports it. And the police come and they find her body, and she's covered in blood and she's dead. And Jim left he went to a few different bars. He went to one bar, I think he drank a bunch of Long Island iced teas, and went to another bar, had a couple margaritas. But nothing's helping. He thought it was gonna, he'll be fine now. The police, when they're in there, they find Osa's journals, and they find the notes about the phone calls. So all the fingers kind of point to Jim. And they go to his house. So this happened in LA. She wasn't in Washington yet. Sorry. Because he went home, he went back. So they found it at his home. They're knocking on the door. No answer. They're knocking again. No answer. They just smash through. They find him curled up on the ground, crying, and he admits it. He confesses, "I did it. I killed my mom. I'm sorry." I stopped taking notes after that. I was like, okay, I'm almost done with this book. I don't have to read this shit anymore. This is so intense. So let me just wrap it up. So he goes on trial, and he gets 15 years to life with chance of parole, but he never goes to the parole hearings. Oh, I was going to tell you. So when the cops bring him in, when they bring him in to question him, like the initial thought is like, this motherfucker just killed his own mom. Let's we might have to rough him up or something. But he's like bawling, and he's like, tortured. They can see this guy has been through hell, and they're just like, Jesus, fuck. So he goes to prison with 16 years to life, and chances for parole, because he is insane. He's diagnosed as schizophrenic, but he never goes to the parole board. He never goes to the parole meetings, the parole board. And he dies. He dies in prison in 2023, just last year. That's Jim Gordon. It's a horrible, horrible story. Such a tortured man. A very, very talented person, talented drummer, talented musician, just consumed with this torturous thing, this insanity. I don't know if you ever see something like that, speak up. Help the guy. Try to get someone some help to help someone. That's just, it's awful. Yeah, I'm glad I'm done. that took a while, but okay. So I'm gonna wrap it up right here. Thank you for coming back to Jay's Rock and Roll Stories. If you enjoyed that story, I'll definitely want to do more. So whatever app you're using, if you enjoyed that story, give me 5 stars, leave a comment, and I will talk to you next time. We got a different project we're gonna do. We're gonna do something happy. All right. So thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you later.